In Netflix's mystery comedy Murder Mystery 2, which stars Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston as Nick and Audrey Spitz, the audience is taken on a wild journey. The couple faces challenges in the sequel as they work to save their buddy and identify potential threats to his safety. The film follows a convoluted route to identify the true offender, much like an Agatha Christie mystery. Along the road, there are many surprises, and once more, many people pass away, some at the Spitz hands. When they believe they have it figured out, a new detail surfaces, forcing them to reevaluate their initial assumptions. The plot bends and turns frequently, keeping the Spitz and the audience on edge right up until the very end. 4 years have passed since Nick and Audrey discovered who killed Malcolm Quince. They currently manage their detective service. Their company is struggling despite their best efforts, and they begin to wonder if there is something else they should be doing. At this point, Maharaja Vikram, whom they had encountered during the Quince case, calls them. They are asked to his private island wedding, which will take place there. This much-needed vacation is for Nick and Audrey. They get ready to take part in the festivities and the comfort of the weekend. But when Vic is abducted and his bodyguard Mr. Lou is killed, things take a change. Nick and Audrey conclude that 2 people are needed for this task. The others stayed behind and remained on the island while the first took Vic away. Vic's inner group, which consists of his future bride Claudette, his sister Sarah, his business associate Francisco, his ex-girlfriend Countess Siku, and his former bodyguard Colonel Ulenga, is the focus of the suspicion. When the kidnapper's plot is carried out, the Spitz take immediate action. Vic was meant to ride an elephant into the building. They discover Mr. Lou, his security, who has been stabbed in the back in his place. Vic is carried away by a kidnapper in the meantime. Nick pursues Vic, while Audrey searches the area for signs. When the elephant arrived, she had seen a person blending into the throng. They threw the robe into the flames and covered their face. Audrey caught a peek of the bloody garment and sleeve. Audrey doesn't realize it wasn't blood until the very end. Renowned private investigator Connor Miller is contacted for assistance. When the kidnappers demand a ransom, the inquiry moves forward quickly. Around $70 million is being demanded, and the kidnapper wants Nick and Audrey to give it. By the end of the evening, Nick and Audrey have slain the men who had come to collect the money, and Connor Miller has perished in a car explosion. Someone else takes the money away. The Countess stole the money, as Nick and Audrey find out, but she had nothing to do with the abduction of Vic. Nick and Audrey tell everyone to gather at the Eiffel Tower, because they believe one of Vic's close friends is the perpetrator. The kidnapper, who has a bomb strapped to his chest, arrives as anticipated and threatens to kill Vic. Nick concludes that the kidnapper is knowledgeable about how the situation will develop and is an expert at handling such circumstances. To everyone's surprise, Connor Miller, the only individual of this type they knew, arrives to collect the money. He also makes it obvious that he doesn't want to leave any witnesses behind. He is killed in a struggle between Nick and Audrey. Everyone unwinds now that he is gone and the device is deactivated. There are, however, a few unfinished business. Miller didn't show up until the following day, despite the Spitz knowledge that the offender was present at the event the night Vic was abducted. This implies that the other individual who brought the elephant in and rid of the robe is still present. When Audrey notices Sarah's hand, she is shocked. Sarah's palm initially appears to have blood on it, but it is actually covered in henna that has been smeared. Audrey is reminded of the ceremony and how Sarah was not present when the dance show began. She appeared out of nowhere after the elephant. Audrey is also aware of the truth that henna does not smear after it has been set. Audrey is certain that it must have occurred earlier on the night of Vic's kidnapping, despite Sarah's assertion that it smeared during the commotion. Audrey realizes that what she initially thought was blood was actually Mendy. This indicates that Sarah was the one who planned everything. When the reality is revealed, Sarah comes clean about everything. Sarah lashes out, saying how much she loves her brother, and there is no reason for her to try and hurt him when she is suspected of kidnapping and trying to murder her brother. Though originally convincing, it soon becomes obvious that she is the only person with a reason to hurt Vic. Nick surmises that Sarah was likely upset with her brother for taking over their parents' company. She was more qualified for the position than her negligent sibling. He had to be moved out of the way, she had to. She attempted to murder him in Mumbai for this reason, which resulted in the colonel losing his left arm. At the ceremony, she gave it another shot and was better prepared this time. Nobody would notice her because of the throng. She created the appearance of an abduction to dispel suspicion of herself. Once Vic was abducted, she was aware that someone would be brought in to help with the investigation. The finest private investigator she knew was Connor Miller, so she included him in the scheme as well. Miller would abduct Vic, then return the following day to finish the investigation. They could block other investigators from the scene and accuse someone else of the murder in this manner. Sarah would receive the family company, and Miller would receive the ransom money. If Nick and Audrey hadn't shown up, everything would have gone as planned. After the criminals are apprehended, Vic and Claudette flee. Vic thanks Nick and Audrey for sparing his life by giving them $10 million in cash. He reveals that he has also left his helicopter at their disposal and sends his pilot to deliver them the money. They can go wherever they want from here, according to instructions given to the captain. The Spitzes are taken aback by this, but they are also happy because it improves their financial position and gives them the opportunity to take the honeymoon they have always wanted. After so many setbacks, it appears that Nick and Audrey will have a happy conclusion. They can travel somewhere pleasant and spend some time alone after the chaotic weekend. Their schemes are foiled when the pilot holds them at gunpoint and demands loot. Contrary to what he had previously claimed, he was not European. He is an American from Jersey and the only one who is aware that the Spitz family is carrying a suitcase containing millions of dollars. The reason the aviator pretended to be European is unknown, but he abandons the act when he realizes that this is his chance to completely transform his life. He accepts the cash and uses a parachute to leap from the aircraft. Nick and Audrey need to work out how to fly the helicopter without the pilot before they can bemoan the money they lost. Although they may be adept at cracking murder riddles, none of them have flown before. We can assume they will survive this experience because we don't truly see them die. Even if they have never piloted a helicopter, if they are intelligent enough to identify a murderer, they are intelligent enough to understand how to operate one. They may fall, but it won't be as bad, and they'll survive with a few scrapes and bruises or perhaps a limb or two missing. In any event, Nick and Audrey Spitz will survive the incident and be in good enough condition to investigate another murder.